we are going to start heart. So in heart mainly we'll study what is its position and what are the relations of the location it is present, everything. So we'll start with heart. So you can see here it's mainly present in the middle mediastinum, especially of inferior mediastinum. Already in my mediastinum video you can check out mediastinum is divided into superior mediastinum and inferior mediastinum, and in the inferior mediastinum mainly anteriorly you will see the anterior mediastinum and middle mediastinum and also posterior mediastinum. So mainly the heart is present in middle part of mediastinum, especially of inferior mediastinum. So it's enclosed within the pericardium. You can also see my previous video on pericardium. There is a detailed discussion on it, what are its layers, everything. So it's enclosed within the pericardium. So heart is mainly placed obliquely behind the body of sternum. So I will show you a diagram. So you can see this is a sternum, this is a sternum. So it is placed obliquely. You can see back there is a heart. It is placed mainly obliquely behind the body of sternum. So you know this is a body, this is a manubrium, right? So behind the body of sternum you will find this heart structure. That to place obliquely with adjoining costal cartilages. So of course here we'll have the costal cartilages, right? So with that also it adjoins. So heart mainly is present 2/3 of the heart is present towards left side, especially its apex is facing towards left side. So if you see in this diagram, for example, so you can see this apex part is mainly situated towards the left side. So that is the reason why we'll say heart is on the left side mainly, but even on right side it will have its 1/3 part. You can see this is the 1/3 part which is on the right side, but major part the 2/3 is on the left side, especially its apex is facing towards the left side. And heart is like just 300 grams in the case of male. So you can see here heart is just 300 grams in male and 250 grams. Heart is somewhat smaller in female when compared with male. So 300 grams in male, whereas in female only 250 grams. Now we will see external features. What are the external features? External features means if you see the heart from outside, what are the structures you are going to find out? So the external features of the heart are mainly the right and left atria and ventricles, which are mainly separated by atrioventricular groove. So what is this? I will show you in diagram. So you can see these are all the external features which we can see from outside just by seeing the heart. If you dissect the body, and if you see on the left side behind the body of sternum, you'll find the structure. So this is heart, where you'll find out you can see this is the right atrium, which you'll see on anterior side, and this is a left auricle, whereas left atrium is present mainly on posterior side. So you can just say this is the left atrium which is seen on posterior side, but on anterior side only you can find out the left auricle. Next, coming to the left ventricle and right ventricle. So first we'll see the right ventricle. So this major part you can see this is a right ventricle and this is a left ventricle. Even the left ventricles most of it is on posterior side. Right ventricle most of it is on anterior side. Posterior also you can see only some part of right ventricle. So you can remember very easily that the left side structures, that is the left atrium, left ventricle, are more on posterior side. So left side structures are more on posterior side, right side structures are more on anterior side. So this is how you see the external features of the heart, and these atria and ventricle both are divided by means of a sulcus. You can see this is a coronary sulcus which is dividing the atria from ventricle. So this is a right atria, right ventricle. They are divided by means of a coronary circles. This is also called as atrioventricular groove. In the name itself you can see atrioventricular groove, the groove which is separating the atria from ventricle. So even between the atria, between the two atria, you will find out a groove. For example, this one. This is one atria, and on the side you will have one more atria, right? So in between them also you will find a groove that is called as interatrial groove. Interatrial groove is between two atria. And not only between atria, even between ventricles we will find a groove that is called as interventricular groove. You can see here this is an anterior interventricular groove, and on posterior side of course you will find the posterior interventricular groove. So actually what is interventricular groove? It is nothing but the between right ventricle and left ventricle, the groove which is present is a interventricular groove, and it is seen on both sides. So this is anterior side. So on anterior side you will see anterior interventricular groove, and on posterior side you can see this is posterior side, you will find out the posterior interventricular grooves. So these are all the external features which you see in the heart, and Next, apex. If you see at the apex, this is called as apex, and this is mostly downwards and towards the left side. And base is this one. This, especially the left atrium, makes the base of the heart, and the base is mainly on the posterior surface. Now next we'll see the borders of the heart. So you can see this line, this is called as the upper border of the heart, right? This one is the upper border of the heart. And next you have the lower border, of course lower or inferior border, which is nearer to the diaphragm, right? And next you have the right border and left border. So you can see this is a right border of the heart, which is towards the right atrium, and this is the left border of the heart. So you can see here left border, this is the left border. So these are the different borders. Now we'll see what are the grooves and sulci which are present in heart. So mainly you have the coronary circle. So you can see this is a coronary sulcus. On the posterior side also you can see the coronary sulcus, which is in between the left atrium, left ventricle and right ventricle. It is nothing but like in between the atria and ventricle, hence the coronary sulcus is also called as atrioventricular sulcus or groove. So mainly this is between the atria and ventricles and separated by anteriorly overlapped by ascending aorta and also pulmonary trunk. So you can see anteriorly you will have the ascending aorta and also the pulmonary trunk. And next, interatrial groove is seen faintly on posterior side. So actually you cannot see that much clearly the interatrial groove that is between two atria, right? And anterior interventricular groove is, you can see it's nearer to the left margin of the heart, and posterior interventricular groove is situated on diaphragmatic or inferior surface of the heart, which is mainly nearer to the right margin of the heart. So the two interventricular grooves meet at the inferior border near the apex. So near the apex you can say that both this anterior interventricular groove and posterior interventricular groove meet. So and also we have one more meeting point where the interatrial septum, this interventricular septum and also coronary sulcus all meet. This point is called crux. This is called the crux of the heart. Now we'll discuss some more detail of apex, what it is made up of. Apex is mainly formed entirely by the left ventricle. So you can see here this is the left ventricle. So mainly left ventricle forms the apex of the heart, and it is overlapped by the anterior border of left lung. So it's on left side, so of course anterior border of left lung also somewhat overlaps it, and it is situated in the fifth intercostal space, which is mainly lateral to the medial sternal line. So you know medial sternal line, to it laterally you will have the fifth intercostal space where you can find out the apex of the heart. So why we are just saying in detail about this, because many pulsations can be felt in the fifth intercostal space just medial to the mid-clavicular line. So just medial to the mid-clavicular line, and you know what is mid-clavicular line, so just medial to it you can find the apex where the pulsations can be heard. Next we'll discuss something about the base of the heart. So you can see the base of the heart is mainly formed in the posterior surface, and the left atrium is playing a major role here, and the small part also some of the right atrium may be also contributing to it, but majorly the left atrium, and it is reaching the four pulmonary veins. So you can say these are the left pulmonary veins, these are the right pulmonary veins. So four pulmonary veins drain into this left atrium, right? And you know superior vena cava, inferior vena cava can also be shown here. This is a superior vena cava on the top, inferior vena cava on bottom. They both open especially in the right atrium. So you can see this is the right atrium part, this is the left atrium. So that's why we are saying base of the heart is majorly made by left atrium and minorly by the right atrium. And next we have, you know, this base of the heart is mainly related to T5 to T8 vertebra on posterior side in lying posture, and descend one by one vertebra in erect posture. So for example, in the base of the heart when you are sleeping, in that sleeping position it will be like in T5 to T8 vertebra, but when you are in standing position, then by one vertebra it will erect in posture, means it will decrease by one vertebra, and they are separated from vertebra by pericardium. You know this base of the heart is separated from vertebral column by means of pericardium. And next you can see some other structures like right pulmonary artery, and also you can see right pulmonary veins. You can see the esophagus, aorta, all the structures are just located nearby to the heart. Now we will see the borders of the heart. So you can see the upper border. The upper border is oblique and mainly formed by the two atria, but mainly the left atrium also again plays a major role in the formation of upper border. So you can see this is upper border mainly made by the left atrium, slightly by the right atrium. And next, coming to the right border is mainly formed by right atrium. Yes, of course, right atrium forming the right border, and left border you can see mainly formed by left ventricle, right. And next, partly of course left auricle also, you can see left auricle and left ventricle. And next, coming to the right inferior border, you can see inferior border is mainly formed by right ventricle, so you can see this is right ventricle, so inferior border. And near the apex mainly formed by the left ventricle, and left border by the left ventricle, partly by left auricle. So next we will see the sternocostal surface of the heart, which is mainly covered by lungs. So anterior side, this is called as sternocostal surface of the heart, mainly covered by lungs. Part of it also lies behind the cardiac notch of left lung and is uncovered dull non-percussion. So clinically it is referred as an area of superficial cardiac dullness, this one. And inferior surface is mainly bilateral, 2/3 by left ventricle. The inferior surface is mainly formed by 2/3 of the left ventricle and 1/3 by the right ventricle, and it is transverse by posterior interventricular groove. And the left surface is mainly formed by left ventricle and also left auricle in upper part, this one. And it is crossed by coronary surface related to the left side, this one. And pericardiophrenik vessels, left phrenic nerve, pericardium, all these are related to this. Pericardiophrenik vessels will be present in the name, you can see from the pericardium to the phrenic means related to the diaphragm, and also left phrenic nerve. This is about like a basic gross anatomy of the heart. Now we will see about the fibrous skeleton. By this diagram we can understand what is fibrous skeleton of heart. So there are fibrous rings which are surrounding the, so you can see these are all the fibrous rings which are mainly surrounding the atrioventricular. So this is like above a 3D image, imagine the 3D image. So above you will have the atria, below this diagram you will have the ventricle, because these are atrioventricular rings, means in between the atria and the ventricle. So these rings are mainly surrounded by atrial orifices along with some fibrous tissue. So atrial orifices means from the atria there is a hole towards the ventricle, and they mainly provide the attachment to the cardiac muscle and keeps the cardiac valve competent. So they give some attachment to different cardiac muscles, we will discuss them. So the large mass of fibrous tissue which is between atrioventricular rings behind and aortic ring in front. So you can see this is a mitral valve and tricuspid valve, which are also called as atrioventricular rings, and you can see this is a, so you can see here, because of these muscular rings there is no continuity between the atria and ventricles across the rings, except for the AV bundle or bundle of His. You know, in the AV bundle and even bundle of His there is a continuation between the atria and ventricle, whereas through these rings there is no. So you can see a large mass of fibrous tissue which is between this mitral ring and tricuspid ring behind, and aortic ring in front. You can see this is aortic ring. So in between them you have this muscle, this is called as trigosum fibrosum dextrum. So you can see the trigonum fibrosum, only this part, trigonum fibrosum dextrum, which is a large mass of fibrous tissue between this atrioventricular rings behind and aortic ring in front, is known as trigonum fibrosum dextrum. So you can see this is aortic ring which is behind, this is in front. So especially in sheep like mammals, the small bone called os cordis is present in the mass of fibrous tissue. And between the aortic and mitral rings, you can see this is a mitral ring, this is aortic ring. So between them you will have a small mass of fibrous tissue called trigonum fibrosum sinistrum. And the tendon of infundibulum is close to the pulmonary vein. So you can see this is a tendon of infundibulum, and this is nearer to the pulmonary valve, which binds the posterior surface of infundibulum to the aortic ring. So posterior surface of this pulmonary valve binds to the infundibulum, and this is also nearer to the aortic ring.